Welcome to Catholic Messenger Conversations. I am your host, Barbara Arlen Fye. Today's guest is Bishop Thomas Zinkula, a frequent guest, we're happy to say. We'll be having a conversation about his recent trip to the Vatican for his ad limina visit to the thresholds of the apostles. Welcome, Bishop.
Thank you, Barb. It's good to be with you again.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, for our listeners who might not be familiar with that term, what exactly is ad limina?
So the full term for this is ad limina apostolorum, and which means to the threshold of the apostles. So every 5 years, every bishop in the world is to go to Rome, to where it all began. Peter and Paul, the two leaders of our faith, and spread the good news and died in Rome. So we go there to pray at their tombs. So that's the main thing, going there to pray at the tombs of Peter and Paul, Saints Peter and Paul. And then while we're there, another important part of it is to visit with the successor of Saint Peter, the Holy Father, and then with his curia, to have a dialogue with his top Vatican officials. So that's kind of at the heart of it.
So how did you prepare for this visit to Rome, to the Vatican?
I packed my bag. I got an airline ticket. No, you have to prepare and send ahead of time what's called a quinquennial report. So they give you all these questions and you have to answer, and you have to pull together all these statistics. So I had my role to play in that, but everybody, the whole staff of the diocese, there's questions directed to each particular area of parish life and diocesan life. So it was a lot of work to pull that together. So is it like a snapshot in time of our diocese? It was, yeah. So it's like from the last time till this time. And so it's good for us too to take a look at what's going on in the diocese and look at our statistics and all that we wouldn't do that probably otherwise. And then you have a record too. Yeah. But the main thing is sent to Rome, and they can see what's going on in the church. And so when was the last time? Because it's supposed to be 5 years, but I think it was longer than that, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was maybe 2013, or even maybe 2011. I think 2011, it was, yeah. And so it's supposed to be every 5 years, but Pope John Paul died, and then Pope Benedict was elected. So you don't start right away with these things. So there's a time period. The new pope has a chance to get up to speed, and so there's some time lost there, and then also with the transition between Pope Benedict and Pope Francis. So it had been a while. Okay. Who was part of this ad limina visit? So it wasn't just you, right? You go as a region. So right now, I think, when was it? In kind of later on in November until maybe later this month. It's United States. So our bishops' conference is going. So there's each week, maybe not during Christmas time. There's a break then, but each week there's a different region there, and sometimes two regions, like smaller diocese regions. There's two. So we're part of Region 9, which is Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, and Missouri. So all of the bishops from those 4 states, those 4 provinces, were there. So there were 15 of us. And then also at the same time, Region 8 was there, because we're both smaller regions. And so that's Missouri and the Dakotas. So you meet with the Pope separately. You meet with all these different congregations just as your own region. But we're all there together. And there were times when we were together socially and, for different things. Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that. Where did you stay when you were at the Vatican? Did you get to stay at like one of those really posh hotels or anything? No, I stayed at the North American College, which is the Pontifical North American College, which is the seminary for seminarians from the United, some seminarians from the United States study over there in Rome, and and so that's they have extra rooms there, and so we stayed there, and it's a lot of work for them to be hosting for like 4 months.
Yeah.
Every week, here comes a new group, and they're coordinating things, and they're lining up transportation to different, to these different things that we're doing, and I mean, they kind of like the seminaries, like seeing all these different bishops come into it, so it's kind of enriching in that way.
So is it like a dorm room, or what's it like?
No, it was more kind of like my room was sort of like a little apartment. I mean, there's a sitting room and the bedroom and a bathroom, but simple. Outside my window, it was the St. Peter's. Like it was not very far away, so it was kind of cool to be that close.
Oh, that's great. What did your itinerary include on this visit?
I arrived on a Sunday, and we had a orientation session that evening. Then on Monday, we went to the Basilica of St. John Lateran and celebrated Mass there, and then from there to the dicastery for laity, family, and life, and then...
What's a dicastery? How would you describe that? Is that like a governing body or something?
It's like I don't know. It's like a group that's, I don't know, that's focused on that particular area. Mm-hmm. That's works for the Pope. Kind of gives them advice and works in this particular area. So it's or another, for some of them, it's a congregation or just a group of people. And so then there was in the afternoon we went back to the seminary for pranzo for lunch, their big meal of the day. And
what do they serve for lunch?
It's always some kind of pasta and some sort of a meat and salad, or some vegetable with the meat and
the Pope didn't stop by for lunch or anything.
No,
did he?
He was on his own.
Okay,
doing his own thing. So in the afternoon, there was Pontifical Commission for the Protection of Minors, an important subject matter. And then we came home, and that evening I had dinner with Father John Lemansky. He'd studied at the NAC, and he was ordained. I ordained him a year and a half ago. He went back, and he's been there to get a degree, an advanced degree. So he's finishing up this semester.
Do you know what his advanced degree is in? Is it
biblical theology?
Wow.
So it's 2 years. Usually when the guys do that, it's 1 year, but because of that subject matter, there's languages, so it's
wow.
It takes more time. So then on Tuesday, we went to the Basilica of St. Mary Major for Mass, and afterwards there was a couple congregation visits, Catholic education, and causes of the saints, and then later in the morning the Congregation for Divine Worship, and in the afternoon, Pontifical Council for the Promotion of the New Evangelization. What
was that like? You've been so interested in the evangelization aspect of our church.
Yeah, no, it was very good. They're all different. They were, I don't know, they talked about like survivors advisory panels, which was kind of a newer thing. So a lot of times survivors meet one-on-one with the bishop, and they were kind of saying, you might want to think about having a panel that's not, so it's not just the victim of the priests that's there, but there's other people too, and to kind of talk together about this, their situation. So that was kind of interesting. Got me thinking about that. And so then there was in the afternoon there's congregation for bishops, and then the Secretary of State.
So what was that like?
Day.
That's like the Pope's right-hand person, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was kind of dry, I thought, actually, to be honest.
What did he talk about?
What happens is they can talk about whatever they want, but they kind of hope that we will lead the conversation, like bring our topics.
Okay.
So they we wanted to talk about, one thing that we talked about was, like there's financial issues at the Vatican. You hear it about sometimes. So we talked about that, and we've had some experience with that in the United States, working with that sort of a thing, and we had something we could offer some. We thought we could offer some advice on that. So that was one thing, and then they talked. The bishop that presented for us wanted to talk about the church in China.
Oh,
so that was interesting because there's some. The Holy Father is doing some things over there, and there's some people kind of wonder if it's the right thing. And
right.
So we had a chance to kind of converse on that topic. So that was interesting.
Okay. And then, so what was that was the next day, the day with the Pope, or what? When?
Next day was Wednesday. It's kind of a shorter day. We had in the morning congregation for consecrated life, then congregation for the doctrine of the faith, and then we came back and there was Mass at the North American College. So that was I think both regions were there together for that Mass. So it was like special Mass, with the seminarians and the staff there.
Oh, that's cool. Did each day did you go to like a major basilica? Aren't there like 4 major basilicas in
right?
Rome?
But we were there more than 4 days. So this time we had Mass at the seminary.
Okay.
So that was our time to be there, and then there was a special dinner that night with the faculty and staff for the bishops. With the bishops.
Okay.
So that was that. Thursday is when we met with the Holy Father. So before that, we had Mass early at the Basilica of St. Peter, at the altar of the tomb of St. Peter. So that was very special. And then after that, we went to, we had Mass and our audience with the Holy Father.
How far away was that from the basilica then? Is that like right?
It's close. Yeah, it's right there. We had to get on the bus though, because just security reasons.
Oh, wow.
Even though we could have walked there easily, we had to get on the bus and go there in that.
So
manner.
was that his apartments? Is that where he comes out and does his general audience?
Right. Yeah. Right. So I remember when we were in a waiting room, you go through these hallways and corridors, and it's kind of interesting, and just to see there's paintings and all these things to see as you're going through there, and you're in the inner sanctum. And when in one place where we were waiting along the way, we waited like about 3 different places. But one time somebody opened the shades, and it was like looking right down in the square, just right down
so
there.
cool.
It was really kind of cool. Yeah.
Do you remember anything about the paintings? Were they paintings of popes, or were they paintings
No, I don't remember exactly. All I know is you just felt like you're walking through history, and there's
wow.
Yeah.
And so was it just the bishops and yourselves going to meet?
No, there's actually with that, we could bring along seminarians and priests, who were maybe studying over there, who were around. So I invited John Father Lamansky, to come with us,
but they couldn't actually go into the audience, right?
No, they came in. We all went into that room. I think it was the Pope's private office.
Okay.
This big room, but so they came in with us, and they had a chance to meet the Pope, and
that's cool.
Right, and get a picture, and everything, and then he visited with them. So they kind of stayed by the doorway. The rest of the bishops went in and kind of went over by the chairs and waited for the Pope to come to sit down and have our visit. So he was visiting with them for a little while. They were laughing, and it was like there's this one young seminarian. I didn't hear this, but I heard somebody told me about it. But when he met the Pope, he's looks evidently very young, and so the Pope said something like, "Did you come here for your confirmation?" So he'll never live that down back at the seminary.
Wow. Now you've met the Pope a few times, right? You've met him.
This Pope?
Yeah.
No, this is the second time.
Oh, this is only the second time?
Only the second. So yeah, no, I was baby Bishop
school. Yeah.
So we had audience with him then, but there was like 120 of us.
Oh, okay.
And so, and basically you have a chance to meet him, and then he gives a big long talk in Italian, which I didn't understand anyway. So,
okay.
And then that was cool. But then this time though, we had a chance to meet him and everything. But then we sat down and we visited with him for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
So that was really, really neat.
How did you feel in his presence? I mean, a little nervous? Because you were kind of coordinating the questions, weren't you, or facilitating the questions for the bishop?
Right. Yes, I was, while we were in Rome, I was like the coordinator for our group. I got stuck with that, so making sure that, okay, there's a bus is going to be at this time, make sure everybody's on the bus, and just organize and letting them know back at the seminary when we're going to be coming back, and so that they'll have dinner ready or whatever. And so because of that, I was the one then who kind of just sort of facilitated that meeting, basically kind of calling on which bishops to talk. I mean, they kind of give a little indication that they have a question, and so I would,
Did you pick them at random, or how did you choose?
I tried to. I mean, usually there wasn't more than a couple that were kind of raising their hands at the same time. So I'd kind of, there's two sides, it's kind of rotated back and forth, and I don't know, it went okay.
And you were sitting right next to the Pope, weren't you?
Yeah, it was pretty special.
Wow.
Yeah, just because of that. And on the other side was he was spoken Italian, and so there's an interpreter there next to him.
And then what sort of questions did your fellow bishops ask?
Well, it was supposed to be confidential. The orientation, they said it's confidential, but there were a few bishops that did talk about it. Not the really sensitive things, but more general things. So I can speak to things that have been out in the media.
I promise I won't share it.
No, it's in the media already, so no, it doesn't matter. What do you mean you're not going to share it? So no, someone asked about, there's a little bit of tension at the bishops' conference meeting in November about this letter that we were putting together for voting and the elections and all that, and so
for faithful citizenship,
right? Yeah, and so that with regard to the language and with regard to pro-life issues, and so whether that's there's abortion, and that subject matter, and then there's all these other things as well, and so how do you kind of present that to people? And so there's the language of that with regard to the abortion, that's a preeminent,
right?
The preeminent life issue. So there was some discussion about that, how the Pope feels about that, and
so what did he say? He was
yeah, of course it is, and there are these other issues too. They're very important, but he said of course, and then he himself then brought up gender identity, that was a significant topic for him, issue for him right now. He wanted to talk about that for a while. And then people brought up somebody brought up Cardinal McCarrick. That's a sensitive topic, and the Pope was honest about that situation, and there'd be issue a report eventually, and so he shared some of his thinking on that.
Because he's already been laicized, hasn't he?
Yes.
And so what I forgot, what do the bishops want from
just
the Holy Father?
What happened? How did this happen? There was a report, there was rumors or whatever about him, how he was living his life in an appropriate way, and how did he rise to
the ranks,
to be the Archbishop Cardinal, in Washington. So there's going to be a report that this has been talked about for quite a while now, that we need this report, and when is it going to come out, so people just be transparent about this whole thing.
Was the Pope surprised by any of the questions that were asked?
He didn't. I didn't pick that up. I mean, he was very much at ease. He's clearly a people person. He just enjoyed, interacting with the bishops.
Oh, that's great.
He was hospitable and warm, and he said when we came in, he said, okay, we're going to be here a long time, and feel free to make yourself comfortable. Feel free to get up, and there's some water over there to get if you want to go and get something to drink at any time, and there's the restrooms over here. And he said, make yourself home. But he also said at least 3 times, just kind of when he's kind of setting the stage for this conversation, feel free to ask anything you want.
That's
There's
great.
Nothing that's off the table. So
that's so cool. Wait, did he crack any jokes? I mean, he does have a good sense of humor, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has a very good sense of humor. I can share with you one thing that he said. This was kind of interesting with. So Bishop Johnson was there, and we're friends and everything, and so Bishop Johnson, when he was it was his turn to ask a question, he kind of prefaced it by saying that in his former life he was a philosopher. And so, just so you know, and then he asked this esoteric question like he's wont to do. And so the Pope, Holy Father, began his response by saying, well, at last you've come down to earth, leaving that being a professor of philosophy, becoming a bishop, you've come down to earth. No, he was funny. On many occasions. Awesome.
So did you get to ask the Pope any questions or not?
I ended up not being able to. I was the only one. Everybody else asked their one question, and I was calling on them, and so then it was kind of like we'd been there a while, and I was trying to read people, and it seemed like what ended up being the last question that people were kind of like, oh gosh, I wish you wouldn't have asked that question because it's time to go,
Yeah.
And I was thinking the Pope maybe was kind of, so I had a question, and then I should I ask it or not, and it's been long enough, and then right then when I was going to ask it, the Pope said, oh, you guys have been here long, I've kept you long enough. So then I never.
That was your cue. What would you have asked him?
Well, I had a bunch of questions because, somebody else could have taken my question, so I had a lot of things that I could have asked him. My main question was going to be, I knew we'd talk about some hard things that are happening right now in the church and society and just the challenges that we're facing these days, and so I was gonna ask him, how do you remain hopeful and joyful in the midst of these hard things that you deal with, that we're dealing with as a church, and how can we remain joyful and hopeful and share that with the priests and the people that we serve. And so Bishop Nicholas asked a question kind of along those lines. So what I was going to ask was, we talked about evangelization just implicitly with a lot of different things, but never directly. So I was going to ask him, you've put out the joy of the gospel, and he's talked about that a lot and everything. And but I was going to ask him, where are you at, like right now with that? What are you thinking in terms of the new evangelization? What's kind of, what would you have to say today about that? So that's what I was going to ask him.
Wow. And I'm wondering, going back to your visits to the basilicas, what was it like? Well, and this isn't the basilica, but to pray at the tombs of Saints Peter and Saint Paul.
It was special. I mean, the thing is, we didn't have a chance to stay there a long time. So after Mass, we could go and pray at their tombs, but it's it's a number of people, and It was really, really special. It would have been nice to just kind of be able to hang out there even longer, because you're in a group and that whole group thing.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool.
Now we have a picture of you touching the foot of Saint Peter. Was that at the tomb, or was that?
No, that's up in the basilica.
Okay. How come? Now you said that his foot is worn away.
Yeah, both of them are. I mean, that was Father Lemansky's idea. He said, "Hey, I'll get a picture of you doing that." And okay, fine, because that's something you do. Yeah. Yes, just from thousands and millions, I don't know, people touching, just from hands.
It's just amazing.
That worn off that, I don't know, it was bronze or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it is pretty amazing.
It's amazing that the Vatican let people touch, statues.
It's just that one of those traditions that develops, and I don't know, what the heck.
Wow. And you talked about these dicasteries that you visited. Was there anything, that really you came away from one of those dicasteries thinking, wow, this is great, I'm going to take this back to the diocese? And
I made notes. I took notes for all of our visits, things that that I thought would be helpful to take back. And I don't know. One general thing that I took away from all that is, a number of them, or a few of them, said, "We're here to help you. Write to us if you have a question about something." And you think about, it's the Vatican, cool, and this mysterious thing, and how do you, they're just kind of in their ivory tower doing their thing apart from us, but they're saying, no, feel free to contact us about when you have a question about something or you need some help with something, I guess we can do that. We don't have to just figure everything out on our own. They're there to help us. So that was really good.
That's great. And you didn't invite the Pope to come visit the Diocese of Davenport for the new evangelization or Vision 2020, did you?
No.
It never hurts to ask why. You could only say no.
We should give him I've said this facetiously to the group that works on, Pacem in Terris award. Are you in that group?
Yeah, I am.
So that, we should give the award to the Pope.
I'll nominate him.
Right.
That would be awesome.
It would be cool, but he could never start doing, do all those things. But anyway.
Well, so what did you do? Did you have free time? What did you do in your free time?
I had done a sabbatical in Rome, in like 2011. So I'd spent about 3 months there, and the North American College provides these sabbaticals that guys are interested in. And so, there's this what it used to be a convent just up the hill a little ways from the seminary, and we stayed there. So I was familiar, with Rome, and I wandered around a ton then. So I kind of wandered around a little bit here and there, and I read some, and I slept a lot, and did a little work, through email. Kind of tried to keep up on things back home.
Did you take any bicycle rides?
No, I didn't. No.
Shoot, we could do a pedaling to the peripheries there.
It'd be dicey.
That'd be fun.
Rome. It's not like riding in the county blacktop in Iowa.
So just to kind of wrap things up, you said you were intellectually prepared for the visit, but how did being there impact you? What especially brought home the significance of your visit?
I would say, so you can read about what this is going to be like and hear about it, and then until you're there, you don't know what it feels like. So for me, I can understand why you'd go to Rome every 5 years and pray at the tombs of Peter and Paul, meet with the Holy Father. It kind of puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
So we have our, what we're doing here in the Diocese of Davenport, but we're part of something larger. And it caused me, I don't know about everybody else, but it caused me to kind of take a look at kind of who I am as bishop and how I'm living my life, and, and to kind of recommit myself to my role as bishop of Davenport. And like with married couples, they've been married 25 years or 40 years, 50 years, there's a renewal of vows. And so I felt that kind of a thing, to rededicating myself, refocusing, gave me new vigor and energy, got me kind of not excited again, because I'm excited anyway, but it just kind of heightened that.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, Bishop, thank you for taking the time to share about the Ad Limina visit, and we look forward to our next conversation.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.